Hey everyone, who's ready for Steven's Summer Adventures? Yes, Summer Steven has been renamed Steven's Summer Adventures, and there is a new promo out for you guys. I will link it down below in the description. And it's basically the same exact event with a bunch of new episodes, although I don't believe the end date for this was specified, although we'll probably get a lot of new episodes and it'll be awesome. So, a new promo just came out. Yes, I was a little bit late. Other people have done it before me, but, that's okay. Some people want to see my opinion and what I have to say. And, of course, I am going to be saying a lot of what already has been said, but since there are a bunch of possibilities I'm going to go over, a lot of things will be repeated, and that's just how things are. So, who's ready for this analysis? I am. Also, one other thing I am wondering if anybody knows, how exactly do you know when a promo will drop? I feel like I'm out of the loop on this, and like I said earlier, I'm a bit late to this. So I'm just wondering if anybody knows, because some people seem to know and are waiting patiently or impatiently for a promo to drop because they know when it kind of will. So I'm just wondering how that goes about. If you know, please tell me in the comments, and if not, that's okay. I am in the same boat as you right now. Let's begin. Also, first, some other news. On July 18th is when it starts at 7 p.m. We know for certain that Drop Beat Dad and Steven Floats will be airing on that day. So, it's pretty awesome. So we know exactly which two episodes will be airing first. And for those who haven't seen Steven Floats because they didn't want to see the spoilers because it already aired in France and it actually aired in English too. In France, they also aired in English. For those that didn't see it yet, and now we're just waiting for the official United States or wherever other country they're in release, then we get to know exactly what it is, and you can finally see it. Of course, in this analysis, I will be talking about Steven Floats because it has been aired, and, we already know a lot about it, basically what happens the whole thing, but if you, so be wary of spoilers, obviously, for that. Basically, for this analysis, I'm going to go from scene to scene to analyze each thing that happens. There are a couple scenes, even though it's only about 30 seconds long, but there's quite a lot of detail you can get from this, even though at first glance it may not look like it. So in the first shot, we see that Steven and Greg jump out of a van together at the temple, and they're just wearing their normal clothes. This could be in the episode Drop Beat Dad, and if so, then we'll get to see Marty again, which would be awesome. Obviously, he's been a deadbeat dad for his son, Sour Cream, because he was not a part of his son's life, and maybe he hasn't been for a long time, or maybe he never really was. Although it was interesting that Amethyst did not know that, and she asked Fidelia, oh, what about Marty? Are you still seeing him? And stuff like that. And she's like, oh, of course not. It's been a long time since then. And maybe he did stick around for a while, and Amethyst knew him then. But now, of course, he is no longer in Sour Cream's life. Or this episode could also be Mr. Greg, since in that episode, of course, there's going to be a lot of Greg in it, which I will bring up later, and other possible scenes that could be from Mr. Greg. And, of course, if it is that episode, then that's going to be definitely super exciting, because it's like a road trip. This next shot is from Steven Floats and says, "It's great to be back." So, and he goes through the clouds, and we know that he has a really hard time getting down, which is basically the whole point of this episode. And of course, as we have seen, he eventually does. What was interesting was that before this episode, we actually did have some clues leading to the conclusion that Steven could float, or this was a power that he and his mother had, although some people were skeptical, of course, because there had never been that much evidence. Although the big pieces of evidence I will point out right now, which are in We Need to Talk, Rose kind of floats down when she comes to talk to Greg, and also in Rose's scabbard, Steven makes that big long jump to Pearl, and that may have in fact been him trying to float, or him accidentally floating, and then when Pearl looks back at him, he kind of lost his focus and he fell down. Thankfully, as we know, he caught himself just in time and he was able to climb back up. Pearl was not acting very nice then, but of course, all was forgiven. The next shot shows a giant ship in the sea, and it looks to be just outside the temple. It's kind of hard to read, but I think the name on the ship is SS Lillad or something like that. It's taped to the side of it. And then we see Steven and Lapis are navigating the ship, and they're laughing. Steven is wearing a life vest, I believe, and this could be either Beach City Drift or maybe even Alone at Sea, although they, of course, aren't alone. And if if the episode is Alone at Sea, then maybe the alone part is referring to Jasper, which people have analyzed as that being the case before. And, you know, if Lapis is there and she meets Jasper, that will be a very interesting reunion. It is great to see Lapis again. If she's still living in the barn, that may be a possibility, or she could be now living on a ship. Who really knows? Although we do know that she dislikes water now after her adventures. Well, adventures, I should say. Not really. It's not really adventures. Her time with Jasper was not a very good thing for her, and now she really dislikes water. And Peridot kind of reminded her of that time, and she was not happy, as we know. In the next scene, we see Peridot with Steven and Amethyst, and they are on the Beach City boardwalk. And Peridot says, "Bold, let's follow this logic." This is probably from Too Short to Ride, and we have seen a couple clips from this episode already. There have been some other promos, which I'll probably link down in the description. Basically, we know that Peridot gets this tablet, and she attaches it to her wrist with these Velcro attachments that she made herself from Steven's old shoes. In the other promos, we see that she has a bow on her head, so it is possible that the tablet was in fact a gift from somebody, and of course she loves it because she obviously is really used to technology, and she probably wants to kind of replicate what her limb enhancers were through getting this tablet. Of course, it's not the same because human technology is so archaic to her, basically, but this is the second best thing that she can do, or it is the very best, because Earth technology is just not what she's used to. Because they are on the boardwalk, it is very much possible that they are going to the Funland arcade in Beach City, which means that from other promos, as we have seen, that Peridot wins this plush alien, which is adorable, and I can't wait to see how she wins it, and it kind of basically becomes her pal. Next is a scene where Steven is flying with rocket shoes. This is most possibly another dream sequence, seeing how this is just so weird. And if this is a dream sequence, then of course what will we see? Is he in a gem's mind or something like that? And will we see Helicopter Dog? Will he give us some awesome advice? Will that be something we should definitely analyze? Maybe yes, of course. Then we see Lapis laughing, which is admittedly a very rare thing, and it is probably from the same episode as we saw before, where Steven and Lapis are on that big ship. Then we see Stevonnie, which is definitely a very exciting thing, and it is probably one of the most important shots in the promo, because just seeing Stevonnie is a big event, no matter when it happens. This could be from Know Your Fusion, which could be the musical episode that has been hinted about a couple of times, or once or twice by Rebecca, I believe. And it could also be from Too Short to Ride, where Steven and Connie are too short to ride on something, obviously, as the name implies, and they've fused together to make Stevonnie to be able to go onto the ride. So that leaves the possibility that Too Short to Ride is either a Peridot-centered episode or a Stevonnie-centered episode. Being both would be very interesting if they had time to do both of those plots in the same episode. I'm not really sure. It could be either one of them at this point. And Stevonnie definitely looks fed up with something, and they might go beat somebody up or show somebody a thing or two. I really don't know. Then we have Peridot gasping, and I don't really know what to say about this one, except that Peridot looks awesome there. Next up is a scene where Steven goes down a curly slide into a swimming pool, and we see here that he's in a suit, which we'll see more of later. But this is obviously really weird, because who does this? You should be in a bathing suit, not an actual suit, when you go into a pool. This one could be in the episode Mr. Greg, which I will talk about later when we see something even more interesting than this shot. Then we see that Steven is with Connie next to her father's dad, which says, "Dad on board." And Connie says, "What a time to be alive." So it looks like Connie is wearing the same hoodie that Stevonnie was wearing. This could also be another point in an episode that is about Greg, which of course be Mr. Greg, or maybe another Greg Center episode, which could be Drop Beat Dad, or another episode like that. Then we have another quick scene where Peridot has her tablet on her arm, and she gets hit by Amethyst, who is in ball form. Actually, Steven looks like he throws the ball at her, and she obviously gets hit by that. And so we're getting to see a lot of this episode. It might be Too Short to Ride, like I've said before, but we've seen a good portion of it already. So it's interesting to see what we have not yet seen of this episode. Then we have another very important clip where it looks like the crystal gems are in the burning room. And of course, what that means there are bubbled gems. Pearl is really hesitant about something. We don't know about what. It could be that they're talking about Peridot or Lapis or maybe even Centipedal. And maybe if they are talking about Centipedal, it can be that they're thinking of a way to heal her, or Steven has found a way to heal her, or something like that. As I have said before in my other videos, Season 3 could be about corrupted gems a lot, and about the healing of them, because Steven has found a way to heal them. And so maybe they need Centipedal, and they can only get her to do what they want, perhaps if they heal her. Only time will tell, of course, what this episode will be about, but it really seems to be an important one. It is also possible that they're talking about Jasper and how that she has become corrupted or something like that, or they need to go find her because they believe she could be dangerous, and because, as we know, we have not seen her gem since for a very long time at the very least, and for all we know, it could be cracked and she could have become corrupted. Now we're getting towards the end here with the clips, but of course it looks like they saved some of the best stuff for later in the promo, as shown here, because we see Greg, Pearl, and Steven all in tuxedos, and they look pretty amazing in it. This episode could be Mr. Greg due to their formal attire and they're on a stage and it looks like they're doing some sort of performance, or this could in fact be the musical episode, although it will probably be Mr. Greg just because Greg is in it, center stage here, which may not be the case in the musical episode, although you never really know. And we'll get to see Greg and Pearl interact more, which is of course something that we should be looking forward to. Also, there is this picture which Rebecca Sugar posted on her Tumblr, I believe, a while back, last year actually, and it makes a lot more sense now seeing that clip and Pearl being in a suit which she looks fabulous with. Then we see Pearl, Steven, and Greg in Greg's van, and they are driving somewhere. It could be that this is also from Mr. Greg, seeing how it is all three of them together once again. However, they are not in their, formal attire, which of course they could have put on later once they got to where they are going to be performing at. They could be performing at Empire City or another city just because they're taking a road trip, and obviously they're going somewhere where they usually don't go, which is of course exciting to see as always, because Seniors is of course based around Beach City most of the time, and going anywhere else is pretty much an awesome treat. And finally, we have a little tiny clip of Steven on the pier where he's saying that he's going to make this the most fun you have ever had. And who could he be talking to? He could be talking to any one of the gems, or it could be Lapis, and this could be the episode where he goes on the ship with her, and of course they have some probably really fun adventures, hopefully fun. It could be emotional, who really knows, but what this episode will be about is definitely a mystery. And then we see this, which gives some more information on the upcoming episodes. So that basically wraps up what the clip shows us, the short promo clip shows us. And now we can speculate on which of the other episodes, besides Drop Beat Dad and Stephen Floss, will be in it. Based on the clip shown, we know pretty much for a fact that Mr. Greg and Too Short to Ride will also be there. It is possible, because of the episode list that we saw a while back, that the new Lars would be on here. But since we didn't really see any clips with Lars, this may not be the case, and instead we may be getting like an episode like Alone at Sea or Beach City Drift instead. So that wraps up pretty much all my analysis for this promo, and I wanted to thank for all of you guys for watching, and if you stuck around till the end, you are amazing for watching this far, because this is almost 15 minutes worth of analysis, and it's pretty crazy since this is basically just a 30-second clip. And I might do more of these in the future. Just tell me if you'd like it, if you like how I'm doing this. It's a bit unscripted, but obviously it's the best way to do this, because if I had to script this whole analysis out, it would have taken me much longer to get this video out to you guys. With that being said, I would like to thank all of the new Patreon supporters I got in the last couple days in the past week. I'm not going to put you guys here. For the first time, I'm actually going to put you in my upcoming theory video, which is actually a speculation video about Centipedal and what gem she might be, so get ready for that. And I'll have some time to thank all of you there. Well, actually a bunch of you, but not all of you actually, because you keep joining, but eventually I'll get to all of you in time. So look forward to your name being said and of course shown in the time to come. So thank you guys for watching, and please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video if you have not already. And I will talk to you guys soon.